So things we know about limits. Limits do not exist when two different things are true. Does anyone remember when limits do not exist? Okay. It's going to be where the derivative, you have a sharp change. Okay, so that's where the derivative is undefined. Oh, that would be a derivative doesn't exist. A limit doesn't exist when there is a hole in the graph or vertical asymptote. Yes, it's been a while. Okay, so if I looked at this graph, just quick looking at it, what x values would we not have a limit at? 0. Where else? 2. 4 and 2 both have limits. They do not have derivatives. The sharp turns are where derivatives don't occur. Where else? 6. Okay. So we really shouldn't say just a hole in the graph, because a hole in the graph can still have a limit. It's the break in the graph. Okay. So if you have a break in the graph like you see at 6, or you have a vertical asymptote, those are the places then you will not have limits. When we talked limits, we talked about different ways to evaluate them analytically, which is just using algebra. So one of those methods that we had, the first one we always tried, was to plug in x. If x getting plugged in worked and it gave us a number, then great, that was our answer. What were some of the ways that we learned to fix limits? Factor was one. What was another one? Multiply by the conjugate. Okay. What else? One started simplify complex fractions. Okay. And if that didn't work, our last resort was check the graph. Okay. Sometimes we checked the graphs or thought about the parent functions or other things. When evaluating trig limits, we had kind of two different ways of looking at that. We said, you're still trying to plug it in first, and if that doesn't work, you can use trig identities. So that's switching tangent for sine over cosine or one of the other ones. And then we also had special trig limits. Anyone remember either of the special trig limits? Okay, so and this is when the limit is approaching 0. 1 is sine x over x. What did that equal? 1. The other one also was when x is approaching 0. Anyone remember what that one was? 1 minus cosine x over x, and that equaled what? 0. If now, because now we're coming back to limits, having learned one new thing about limits in our last unit, okay? If you get the indeterminate form, which is 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity, what do we now know we can use for limits? What's our new one? L'Hopital. Okay? So only if you get 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity, you can use L'Hopital's rule. Okay? When we were talking about limits, we also learned how to say that functions were continuous. And if you haven't seen the online quiz for this week, it goes back to limits and continuity, the stuff that we did way back, okay? Which is why it is this week. It comes all circling back. So we had 3 different conditions for continuity. What made a function continuous? First was f of the value had to exist or exist. Second was, given what we're talking about, the limit at that value had to exist. And then third was what had to be true about what those equaled. They were the same. So our third was that f of that value must equal the limit at that value. I should say of f of x there. Okay. So if we need to prove something continuous, we have to evaluate those three things. Okay. So then for our second page of this, I told you part of me doing stuff was short and sweet. Okay. What do we know about limits at vertical asymptotes? They do not exist. Okay? Limits at vertical asymptotes do not exist because either they split and one piece goes up to infinity and one down, or even if they both go to positive infinity, we can still say it doesn't exist because infinity doesn't exist. What do horizontal asymptotes tell us about limits? Okay, the limit as x approaches what? Positive or negative infinity. The horizontal asymptote was the answer to the limits at positive or negative infinity. This right here is where we were always thinking Bobo Button eats DC, or other horizontal asymptotes. Other things have horizontal asymptotes like exponential functions. Exponential functions have horizontal asymptotes as well. And that will determine the limits at infinity. Okay. All right, and then the other part in Unit 1 that we went through was our intermediate value theorem. Okay, and we need to go back through our explanation for that. Remember, intermediate value theorem was the one that said, if I know that f of one number is, let's just say it's a negative number, and I know f of another number is a positive, then I'm guaranteed to go through what in the middle? 0, right? But it could have been any other y values. So how do I start? What y value are you trying to find or proofs exist? If I want to prove that y equals 2, then I have to find an ordered pair on each side of y equals 2 to show that one y value is lower and one y value is higher. So an example, if you are trying to find or prove that there is a 0, you need to find one point where the y value is negative and one point where the y value is positive to show that it goes through 0 in the middle. If you're trying to show that there is at least one solution to y equals 5, you need to find one point where the y value is less than 5, one point where the y value is more than 5. And here's your review of your script. Okay, the beginning conditions. F of x had to be continuous everywhere on its domain so that the intermediate value theorem applies. There must be at least one x value on the interval, whatever it is, it's like a to b, such that f of x equals, I'll just say c. Because f of a is one number, and f of b is another number, and those two numbers, I'll just say y1 and y2 here. And y1 is less than c, which is less than y2. Okay. And if you need to show that you have more than one 0 or more than one solution for that y equals, we have to write that statement multiple times, except for the beginning part, right? The beginning part is like you're starting off, and then the rest of it we had to rewrite multiple times, all right? So that is our quick review of Unit 1. Those were the concepts we covered in Unit 1. Your online quiz goes with these concepts this weekend on purpose so that we're going back through it. From here through the end of the class, you and your table have time to work